One thing about hockey referees that's different, okay? Any other sport, any sort of altercation, they're breaking it up, they're throwing flags and all that. Even when a football fight's happening or a baseball fight's happening, like they're involved. In a hockey fight, I think you could probably find a picture of referees standing there, like nonchalant, just looking at them. 5-on-5, grown-ass men throwing hands.
Yes.
And they're just like, you know what, man? We've been trying to whistle and stop this all game. Let's just let them time this. You know.
Hey, it's Tuesday now, baby. And now we're rocking. We get how fired up are you that we get to add Mr. Bring the Juice himself on the set?
You know
today?
what?
Boys.
Come on, he's back.
I'm fired up, brother.
Boys, I'm happy to be here. It's the Juice Lunch Pail Guys collab. It's not even a collab. It's just casual. It's like you said, it's Tuesday.
It's just
It's
kind
kind
of
of-
What we got?
It feels comfy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I spent some time. I was working in my office today, typing away, doing my shit, and I did tap into Juice Golf this afternoon.
Oh.
I did check out the 9 beers and 9 holes. I'm proud of the fellas. Strong finish, by the way. Strong finish to deduct a beer.
Yeah.
But my one critique as a lunch pail guy.
Please.
One critique. We finished extra reps. We do extra reps in the summer. I think we should have banged that 10th
Overtime?
beer to let the course know like we were on your head today.
Yeah.
We actually would have been fine if we had to do 12.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like, yeah, I think that would have led you to the next round of going,
I-
like, 9's a low number.
Steve, you can tell me your take. So I'm just going to walk you through beers 1 through 9 real quick. 1 was fast because we were hot.
Yeah.
2 was like
Natural.
we're on pace. 3 was good. 4
4 was when we kinda
was
screwed
kinda
up.
like, okay, because we hit a bogey on a par 3.
Yeah.
And you added. You had to add a
We had
beer.
added. It's
The
kind of like,
boys were a little shocked.
Yeah.
I could see the
Well,
adversity.
out the gate, we go 1 under. We talked about it. We hadn't gone 1 under off the rip.
yes. And I got a hold of 1. We finished it. It went well. We played complimentary. And then, honestly, like, 5 is where it was like, 5, for me, 4, 5, 6 was the hard part.
Yeah.
We shotgunned
That's
1.
that chunk in
and
there.
I was
It was kind of where we got to the point where we're halfway through. We haven't fucked it up, but we also haven't gained any
Right.
to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And then it was like shotgun, slam 1, oh shit, cigarette.
But that, okay,
Yeah.
that was going to be my comment. It's like, as a beer drinker, right, that beer buzz is completely different than taking shots. By the 4th or 5th one, it's kind of like those old memes where the beer's starting to raise up on you.
Yeah, it's on your
loose
eyelids
on your
a little
body,
bit,
but like up top, you're like, oh, I'm here.
Well, then, yeah.
I see the cigarette, and I'm like, oh, brother, I haven't seen the big dog rip a dart in a long time.
Our other camera guy, John, I'm like, he's smoking heaters. I'm like, John, can I bum a heater? He's like, do you want a cigarette? And I'm like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, honestly, like, yeah, I'm not kidding. I ripped 1 puff of that dart. It reduced me back down 2 beers.
Oh, 100%.
From a sobriety
No, 100%.
standpoint. And one of our strategies was, we're not taking into account here, we're gonna be feeling this. Like,
Golf's
our
gonna become
golf
harder.
is gonna go down. Our golf skills will decrease at some point.
You also get a little bit more fluid as an athlete.
We were fluid.
Your like goldfish
Yeah.
mindset starts coming more.
Yeah.
You start fucking up. You're like, ha, hey, it don't matter. Next,
No,
I started
next
thinking
shot.
I could-
It's ready golf. Like,
Yeah.
boom, boom. Like, let's
Yes.
go.
At some point, I started thinking like I can hole out from 190.
Every
When have
time
I ever done that?
Every time Comstock's grabbing a club, he's like, I'm putting this in the hole right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have that
Yes.
mindset.
Yes.
I do think, and after watching it too, first of all, shout out to River, because the video editing,
Crisp.
if you watch
Very
each
crisp.
time,
Very crisp.
they're getting better.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
They're getting better. And hey, it's going to take reps. I have
they've-
zeroed out by episode 50, we're going to be averaging 10K viewers.
And they're flowing. Like it's
They're flowing,
Yeah.
they're fun, they're different games. We're entertaining. New elements are going to be added. Aaron, you will get a feature. I think we got to get James Bailey on at one point. We don't have to get into that yet.
we need to see a 3
Do
wood
not
out there.
lob me one of those to just come down and be like, listen, I need to see this in person. Do not throw me on a group chat talking about I
Shot
shot
a
a blah, blah,
76.
blah to give, I don't want to get into particulars or anything. But
Oh, is that?
Hey.
Am I not hearing about?
somebody threw the gauntlet down and it needs to be tested. We need to go
Ooh.
see what's good.
It's like, listen, man, I consider myself a average crappy golfer. Okay, I am a crappy golfer. I'm average. I'm a great third man in a scramble.
Yeah.
I'm a great third man in a scramble.
I like that.
Frank, describe your golf game. I'm a great third man in a scramble. I have good vibes. I'm down for anything.
Keeps the energy up.
Keeps the energy up.
Pulls a couple shots out of his ass. That
Yes.
just keeps
No, I was gonna say.
alive,
There's a couple where you're like, we're using that.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe it might be a drive. It might be a T wedge. You never know.
You might sink a 15-foot putt.
Yeah.
who knows? But for me, it's the piecing it together side of things.
Yes.
I'm not saying I can't hit good shots. It's the blow up holes, and it's having a good drive. But the second shot, I chunk 17 yards. You know, it's the 3 putts. It's like, did we get out of the sand the first time? Like, what are we doing here? And I think golf is hard. So
I think another aspect that a lot of people don't think about is once I'm 10 over, at some point I'm like, the round's gone.
Yeah,
it got
no,
away from me. And then it's like, I'm just having fun with the boys.
And then you're literally like, I'm 210 out. Like, I could drive her off the deck here, or like I could try to be layup and be a good golfer.
Yeah.
But like 10, I'm already 10
If I'm
over.
10 over, like,
I'm gonna take a more aggressive
Yeah.
approach than I would in a non-aggressive.
or if I'm like by myself and I really don't care, because sometimes I know you played by yourself recently. A by yourself round is very
by the way.
decompressing.
Yes.
I might say, you know what, man, I'm not gonna shoot my best score anymore. I'm on hole 6. I just shanked one. I'm gonna drop one and I'm gonna get a rep in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had probably, obviously I played still yesterday. I probably had 2 holes where I hit a good shot.
Yeah.
Like, I would have normally been like, oh, the boys would have fired me up there. But I was like, I like the way that felt. I'm going to lay another one down because I wanted to keep it skinny. What's that? Hole 9.
Okay.
Where it kind of splits the fairway
Yeah.
on Dragonfly.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had a great shot. Second shot right off the tee box or right off the green, probably 10 feet. Was happy with it.
Yeah.
Grabbed my 7 again and was like, I want to try to hug this line on like that bank.
Yeah.
See if I can dribble it on.
Get a
the green.
rep in. Get a rep in.
Great
Yeah.
shot.
Steve, finishing up with the juice golf segment, I think by hole 9, we were in a rhythm where we could have gotten to hole 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, drinking beers and been fine. I think we
Yeah.
were at a level where it was.
I think so too.
It was
We
hot
started coasting.
outside.
I think so too.
It was hot outside. It's like, okay, I'm at this tier of fucked up. Now, 16, 17, 18, that's where the puking comes into play.
See, but like
the liquid,
and
the
you're not-
liquid's a lot.
You're like not wanting to keep that consumption rate that high.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we did a
though.
power hour for an hour and a half, realistically.
Yeah, well, I was like, we were out
That's a
there
good
for
way to look at it.
85
a
minutes.
good way to
We
look at
killed 9 beers.
Hold on, like when you start breaking that down,
Yeah, that's a lot.
it's pretty fast. And
No,
like,
and we
the
were
boys,
going.
the boys looked like from a viewer, right? I had no idea what you. Obviously, I saw you later that day. I think
Sure.
like you were still doing good, but like from a viewer, I was like, these boys don't look that.
We're not that
they don't
fucked
look
up.
That
No.
fucked up yet.
No.
Like
Yeah.
I think you were another dart and another beer away from being
Twisted.
hot take
See-
central, but like
Yeah.
it was. That's why we're out there.
Yeah.
Like we're pressing the boundary for a reason.
Of course, but I do think there is a 18-hole, 18 beer challenge in the future.
Okay, can you throw some dogs in there just for like the safety of it? Like,
I think I got one grilled cheese in there, to be honest. I got some.
Off camera, I crushed 2 corn dogs.
hey, I will box statement that Dragonfly has some of the best corn dogs.
Dude, they were
I think
good.
Dragonfly has the best French fries I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, same.
I can agree with
when
that.
they're crisp and hot, right out.
I mean, that.
They're
I
winners.
can't name a better
They're
one.
winners.
tallow.
Can't name a better
They're
one.
winners.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
No, they might be.
Yeah.
They taste like it. But speaking of winners, fellas.
Yeah.
We got Stanley Cup playoffs going.
Dude, don't get me
The,
started.
the group chat got a little rowdy last night. I was laying here. I was
Yeah.
a little sleepy. I didn't have to sleep my eyes. I was ready to fall
You
asleep.
saw my Instagram story. I was in bed. I was like, cash.
And then the boys started blowing me up like, hey, this game's popping off. I'm taking the over. And now I'm getting buzzed. I'm like, I guess I got to throw it on. But
Yes.
Comstock, talk to me about this matchup last night. Huge win for the boys.
Huge win.
This was game 3.
Game 3.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. We've talked about this before. I want the cup to stay in the U.S.
Yeah.
That's what I want. After the
I like that.
After the
That's a take in its own stuff.
after the 4 countries thing or the whatever that
Yeah.
was where
4 nations.
4 nations.
Yep.
There we go. When we played Canada and we lost in the one that it mattered.
Well, we beat them in the boxing match. That's what matters.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? That's when I found out about that, and I was like, I don't want this whole Stanley Cup. I've been like, I want every Canadian team to lose in every single series. And I mean, we got on it. We were getting after them, and at one point, I look at Allie and I go, this game is going to get out of control at any moment.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you start seeing the Oilers lose their composure and just start flagrant fouls or
Yeah.
penalties, like just straight up.
They were trying to get a power play. They were baiting guys in the power play.
Yep.
I mean, one dude cross-checked the dude and broke the stick over him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Frustration.
Yeah.
Right. Getting a little rowdy out there.
Now, what I liked is when the Panthers were up, I think like 5-1 at this point, and they kind of looked at each other like, fuck this shit, man. We're going to win the game. There's 7 minutes left. Like,
Full line brawl.
like, fuck this. We're going to go Mike Tyson on these motherfuckers.
Yeah. All of them at the same time.
And
Yeah, I love that.
I was telling my mom this morning, like, one thing about hockey referees that's different, okay? Any other sport, any sort of altercation, they're breaking it up, they're throwing flags and all that. Even when a football fight's happening or a baseball fight's happening, like, they're involved. In a hockey fight, I think you could probably find a picture of referees standing there, like,
Staring at 'em.
nonchalant, just looking at them. 5-on-5, grown-ass men throwing hands.
Yes.
And they're just like, you know what, man? We've been trying to whistle and stop this all game. Let's just let them tie themselves.
You know, I think it gets to a point where like the emotions just bubble to a point where they're like, all right, fellas, like we kind of gotta let it get them out.
Let's
out
blow
of
the
their
steam
system.
off.
Yeah, let them get out of their
Or like
system.
the game's just gonna continue being like stop and start whistles here and there.
Well,
But-
there was a point where the dude that got cross-checked or whatever tackles the guy and is just
Yeah.
and the refs just kind of sitting there like, all right, guys, come on, stop.
No,
Like,
he's not
not
like,
even.
it's
He's
very,
not
like, it's
even.
cautious. Like he's kind of
Yeah.
like, whoa, like let these guys figure it out. But I think it's Wayne Gretzky who had the quote saying that hockey's the only sport that, you know, obviously there's like field hockey and all those other things, but like hockey's one of the only sports that you have a lethal weapon in your hand, and skates are a lethal weapon. So you kind of like for the viewership to like take away from that.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we might as well let them fight. You know, like, hey, drop the sticks and throw it out. So like,
Yeah.
nobody gets to that level where like the brutality of the fact that like you could use that stick to end somebody's life if you wanted to. But it's not within the game. So like, and like Wayne Gretzky's one of the best to ever play hockey. So he's like, yeah, let the boys fight.
Dude, at one point, the announcers were like, they didn't think Connor McDavid or Draisaitl should go back on the ice because the Florida Panthers would just go at them intentionally.
Yes.
Like,
But like,
unbelievable.
there's a little bit of nuance that like if I'm a hunter and I'm out there on a hockey ice and I'm up big and they're still coming at me, I'm like, I'm gonna punish this guy.
Yeah.
Because guess what? We're gonna play him again a day, 2 days.
2 days away.
Like if I can get 7 minutes up, games in hand, let me go send some killers out, get a couple hits on this guy.
Well,
now 2-3 games later,
McDavid
he's
went
still
out.
feeling those.
McDavid, they were like, they showed the instant replay, and there was collision. He got clipped. Looked like it could have been a knee injury type thing. He came back, and within 5 seconds, they said maybe he was sharpening his skate.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, you know,
It's crazy
the
commentary.
guys fucking.
Hey, and the commentators are so bought into the sport. They were literally like, "Oh, actually, that model of skate is the old model. They can't change them, so we had to get a whole new pair of boots." I'm like, "Holy smokes, these guys are tapped in."
Hey, we talked about in an episode before about guys that got a sticky note guy that's writing stuff down. He goes, "Hey, fellas, we ain't got that model on ice anymore.
Right.
He's got these models."
There's some equipment manager that was put into
That's dialed.
that was went into fight or flight mode,
Yes.
where the head equipment manager said, "You better fucking have that backup ready, man. You better have that
We
backup
talked about
ready."
this 2 days ago, guys.
Yeah, we went through this in installs last week. Like, you better make sure we got that.
I'm really glad you brought up equipment managers because I want to talk about something on the Florida Panthers that's been going on all season.
Okay.
So their goalie, Sergei Bobrovsky, okay, if they pitch a shutout, and he's a goalie, it means a lot to him to have fucking shutout wins, right?
Yeah.
He owns that
sheet.
net. That's his thing. How it goes is throughout the season, if you pitch a shutout, right, they beat the Edmonton. If they would have lost, they wouldn't have won. They scored no goals. He gives the equipment manager every player's name in a hat. Equipment manager takes 3 names out the hat. Whoever gets it gets a personal handwritten letter from the goalie and the fanciest bottle of wine you could think of. Okay. Now, yes. And this is almost like an incentive to the team. Like, hey, I'm fighting my ass off in the goal. Y'all fight your ass off to keep the puck out the net. I'm gonna reward you. Now,
Dude,
what I
that's
loved
like-
about this.
That's like when a quarterback like takes care of his.
That was my exact point. Like,
Yes.
what I love about it is if you are, say you're my teammate and you draw my name and I give you a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Yet that season you're out of contention now.
Oh.
Because he wants to make sure that every player on his team
Gets
gets
paid.
that love, gets
Yeah.
that feel. And I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you fellas, like,
Okay.
that's kind of up there for one of those things of like, if my goalie's giving me like fancy, and I know this guy's not going cheap on it.
Yeah.
Okay, he's giving fancy bottles of wine, handwritten notes. One of the guys said he freaking took the note and framed it and has it in his freaking office now.
That's so cool.
Your point of quarterbacks paying offensive linemen at the end of the season, like, hey fellas, under 5 sacks, you get this. Under 10, this. what's your go-to? Like, what's the best incentive as a teammate to another teammate that you could put on the table and say, like, if you help me achieve this, I'm going to give you this?
I think I am buying for my O-line.
Yeah.
If I'm a quarter, you're talking about if I'm a quarterback?
Yeah, pick one. Like, you're a quarterback,
So if I'm a quarterback,
you're a goalie on soccer, something where your job relies on other people to do their job to be successful.
I think that wine is really cool because it's something you could casually in any house throw it on your bar, maybe put it on a shelf, like, hey, we're not going to open that one, right? Like, this is a special bottle, put the note beneath it, it'd be a badass thing. Let's say wine's off the table, and I really like that. It's hard to beat.
No, that's a good one.
Things that would be awesome, like if I'm a quarterback, maybe just like a 5-day trip to your family to go to Hawaii.
All inclusive.
All inclusive.
Here's
Hey, listen.
Here's a $30,000 check for flights and this and that.
Exactly. This is a suite. I have a plug at the Four Seasons in Hawaii. You're going to Maui.
My travel agent.
Right. My travel agent. He'll call you. You're bringing the kids. Okay, great, no problem.
Frank,
got the
are you gonna go hang out with him, or is that you go and do your own thing?
No, I think it's you go do your own thing.
Yeah, I like that.
I think you say, because you know what, maybe I want to go May 2nd, but you got a wedding that day, right? I'm not gonna. You have your own schedule. You have your own shit. Maybe your kids in Little League baseball, like they get to do what they want with it. But hey, buddy, you're going to Hawaii.
Yep.
Now 3 of the boys. If the left tackle and the guard are best friends and their family, their wives are friends and all that, and they want to go do a couples trip, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. If all the boys say, hey, the O-line's going to Hawaii, we want to do a little O-line retreat, shout out to our QB, better yet.
Yeah.
But I think it's just something where you could have a clean sheet and just be like, you're talking to your wife after the game, you're talking to your mom after the game, like, hey, good win, going fucking Hawaii.
You don't think as an O-lineman in that room and as a starter who like that matters every week? I have a little calendar that's like, yo, babe, I just knocked another week off with one pressure. Like, we're solid.
I
Like,
was going the same kind of direction that you were going, like a trip kind of thing. And I was thinking, like, one of the cool things that one of our coaches did was if you won like this certain, it was called Survivor for special teams, and one guy wins, and then you have a team, they win. But you get to bring your team to his house, and he cooks tomahawks and stuff, and it was a cool experience.
Yeah.
I was thinking like kind of,
a
cool meal, but also like kind of like how Nick Saban would take the recruits to his lake house, kind of do something like that, where it's like all the boys, we're going to go to the lake house, we're going to have a very nice meal, go out on the boat, just kind of have like a nice, cool experience day and just vibe.
I'm with that.
What's yours?
I think realistically, if I'm in a position, as an offensive lineman where my quarterback's like dangling a little incentive in front of me, I would love to be able to set up where there's a bit of a tier. Like, hey, like our offensive line last year, we gave up 11 sacks.
Right.
Okay, fellas, you gave up 10 this year. You get your $50,000 on an all-inclusive trip to here as a group. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you keep stacking though. Like, you give up no sacks against our rival. I'm throwing steak dinners on top of that. Like, as a quarterback, if I got the money, I am enticing that pot as much as I can. Like, as a quarterback,
built-in incentives.
Dude,
I like that.
If I have to give up $1 million at the end of the season of my Patrick Mahomes contract, that was way bigger than the number that I'm comfortable saying on live pod without knowing the real number.
Right.
$1 million ain't shit to me. Like, I'm like, hey, here's your trip for the entire line. Here's your steak.
It's really just an investment at that point. It's an investment,
and it's culture building. Like, I think we also need to understand too. Like, I think it's different in those locker rooms. Like, I think it's different in a pro locker room where like your left tackle, like, he's on his own. Like, he knows he's on his own island, but he's also like, I got to get my bag. Like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes for me to get.
Well, and then think about this, right? Like, guys, we see all the time guys that are like, they'll go from a winning team. They're like, I want to get paid now, and they want to go to over here. Now imagine you're on a winning team, but your quarterback's also incentivizing you. Like, you're gonna be like, why am I leaving this place?
Correct.
So not only is it's culture building, but it's like really getting that group to be like, let's stay together for this.
But it's I think it's a great way to just incentivize the boy, because it also led me, as I saw that take and kind of, again, like, fancy bottle of wine, handwritten note, that's very personal.
Yeah.
That's very something like as a team. And I think they made a quote of like, there was a guy that got traded from the Blackhawks who were like, they were just dog shit this year.
Yeah.
And like mid-season gets traded to this team that's just got this great culture. Now they're in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Think about that guy's own career trajectory changing now that he's a part of a system that's kind of buying into like, hey, we as boys do things to make sure that our lives are better, and like we grow thing. I think that's why they're probably in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
If I had 1 second option just came to me, I'd go watches.
Oh yeah.
I know you're a big watch guy.
I'm not a watch guy.
And then underneath it has like engraved
something, personalized watches. Maybe they're all different. Maybe they're all at a certain tier, within 5-10 grand of each other. That they're premiums, obviously. Maybe they're just a certain company. I
got an NIL deal with Rolex. So
Rolex the Rolex. Hey, we get a clean sheet, Rolex. No one's gonna flinch at a Rolex from their quarterback.
Nope.
From their goalie.
Nope.
Right. And that's a pricey thing, but it's something to where maybe you can't bring the bottle of wine out with you.
But that's also
correct. That's gonna be a later thing.
It's something you could wear your watch. Your quarterback has a first kid's birthday party or something like that. I'm wearing,
watch. Well, and then think about the legacy that brings, right? Like, you could pass a bottle of wine down to your kid, but imagine your first son getting a watch.
Yeah, Peyton Manning gave me this fucking watch because we had 0 sacks against the Bengals, like 4.
Jeff Saturday is
this is
7 of those watches. Just
then you get a collection too, and it's like,
I like that.
Like, you think about it too. Like, I think as sportsmen, we all played sports at a very high level, and we're able to move through. And you win championships, you win rings. Sometimes you don't. I think when you get to the highest level, like, you need to find more ways to cherish those little wins.
Oh, you have.
And I think something like that, where you're like, we may not have won the Super Bowl that year, but like, my offensive line, we had 7 opportunities to win a Rolex because we clean sheeted it.
Right.
Like, those are those little instances as sportsmen. Like, you're gonna hang on to those for the rest of your life and tell those stories for everyone. So
I love that.
But I want to switch a little bit. We're still talking about college football, fellas.
Okay.
But most exciting college football clip in the 2000 era. I have a couple honorable mentions. Okay, I wrote down. Obviously, I think we remember the Kick 6 Iron Bowl.
That's my all time.
That's my all time. Numero uno. Anyway, that was one of the most electric.
Watching it live, I didn't even. You don't even know what to say. It's
I was just
what the fuck.
You don't have words to say. Your mouth's fucking. Your beer's falling out of your mouth. Your jaw's open. You're literally like, did that shit really just happen on live television? Like, Jameer Jordan Kick 6ing.
I was gonna win the football game.
Yes.
Like, that just lives in my brain.
It's not just the play though. It's Auburn, Alabama. It's a walk off. Like,
dude,
it's the variables and the elements that brought it in.
One of the things that I saw from that was like, Auburn was like, this is the 5th year since whatever. Like, they were doing like this little thing, and it was Auburn marching band. And it was like a video of their reaction, like they were video, and like you see them, they're like, oh, and then all of a sudden, like they're like jumping around, and then all of a sudden they're going nuts, and then they're like playing, and they're like freaking throwing their freaking instruments around, playing their hearts out. I'm like, that is freaking unbelievable.
Absolutely.
But I think some of the best clips that come from that is literally like fan reactions. Like that, we've talked about camera guys before. Like, he scores a touchdown, the announcer, but then that camera goes to the other team's fan base, and they're just in tears, shambles, mouth wide open, like doesn't even know it. Like, literally looks like someone just told them hey, your favorite dog died. Like, but like that's what sports means. But like other things like 7 OT games. Like, I was at a USC Stanford game that went to 7 overtime, and the college football time were 25 yards in. You got App State beating Michigan.
Yeah.
You got Michigan State winning on a fumble punt against Michigan.
Oh,
I remember that one.
I
remember that one.
You had like there is some what's another one? Jadeveon Clowney, who came in like
ball don't lie.
Ball
don't lie.
Best clip ever is when coach is staring at the ball like
it's like the whole sideline is like 80 feet. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Ball. That is the biggest ball don't lie I think ever.
I think I watched that on replay for, I don't know, 4 years of my high school career on Fridays, like just ready to play football.
You're not telling me after that clip it wasn't the like intro to every big hit highlight for like the next 7 years? It's just
I saw it today. I saw it today on Twitter.
Dude, I think another moment, I don't know if you guys saw this or remember this, was when UCLA played Texas A&M at home, and they went into like, I think it was like the biggest comeback, one of the biggest comebacks in college football.
Oh yes,
they were down like
UCLA
4
was
scores or
up
something.
like 6 tutties or something like that.
No, Texas A&M was up.
Yes, that's what it was. The other way around. It was nuts.
Josh Rosen like is driving. I was at the game, and he like low key does a fake spike and throws a touchdown, and I was like, holy crap! It was unreal.
As much as we hate him, bro, like
I knew you were gonna say it. I have it on my notes, and I couldn't even. I was gonna lay it out enough for one of you two to say it.
You can't not throw in Boise beating Oklahoma, bro, in the Fiesta Bowl.
The tricksters.
It's just, and the thing is,
Tricksters.
No, it's just they're tricksters.
I have been in the position, and we all have where like you practice hook and ladders.
Yep.
Okay. For that to be
On that Friday install, fellas, we got to practice it.
I don't think we realize the balls it takes to call it at that point in the game.
Giant steel ones, brother.
Execute it.
Giant steel ones.
To execute it.
It's one of those things that I'm so glad that it did happen in a way because
I'm not bitter like that. I'm glad.
I'm not. No, for the sport.
No,
Yeah.
I'm absolutely.
You guys
fired
will
up that
understand my
happened.
take, right? If it wouldn't have worked and they would have lost, that coach, they would have said that was the dumbest thing you could have done.
That's everything.
That's
Yada, yada, yada.
living and dying by your sword.
And I think that is the best thing. I mean, we had to
We're
play
only talking about the hook and ladder.
They doubled down with the Statue of Liberty.
That's what I'm saying.
The guy just put 150 on black, won it, and didn't even without a wince. Yeah, run it back.
Yep.
The Statue of Liberty could have lost the game.
Yeah.
But instead, it created
One of the
huge
most
upset,
iconic
one of the
moments.
most iconic moments. And like,
I mean, when he runs to the sideline and jumps and throws the ball.
it, proposes.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
Like, bro, what the fuck?
Everything. It's the Fiesta Bowl. At that
it's
time, the Bowls were
everything.
the
And,
coolest thing in the world.
And that was a point too. And I think us being like group of 5 guys, like that was huge.
Yeah.
That was seriously giant.
Well, I think it too, like, obviously our alma mater is Fresno State. Like, you growing up in the Valley, you growing up near it, I'm close enough to it. Like, you would hear about these Fresno State Bulldogs freaking knocking off a big game win. So, like, growing up, you're watching, I didn't have any hate for Boise in my heart at that time. So,
No.
like, I'm watching them on a big stage against
I was a
Oklahoma,
big fan.
who's like, they're about to knock
was.
them off. And, like, my piss is hot. Like, I'm fired up for them.
Yeah.
I would say also, this isn't a game. I think Oregon in its prime with Marcus Mariota, with like D'Anthony Thomas
yes.
in there at that point.
Yes.
The swagger they had of just, that's when like nobody really had crazy uniforms yet besides Oregon.
But-
Well,
Besides
and
them.
they were also one of the first teams to really do like the hurry up stuff. I
No,
mean,
they were the first West Coast offense.
Yeah,
Like,
and they-
go.
Literally
12
had
second-
O-linemen that were all under like 275 pounds. So like,
Go.
we're going to run 97 plays in it.
Yeah.
In a game. every
I
game.
remember sitting there thinking like the announcers would always be saying they're snapping the ball every 12 seconds.
Yeah, it was
Like
ridiculous.
think about that just in a football standpoint.
it
Every
kinda,
12
as
seconds
an
is
O-lineman, it
unreal.
makes me kind of like throw up in my mouth thinking about what those O-linemen had to do from a preparation standpoint to get ready to run and perform every 12 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm disgusted for them.
My last one would be Johnny Manziel beating Alabama.
Yes.
That's up there on my list.
Like that is and I remember it clearly. It was like I was in high school, played Friday night. I think it was a sophomore. Thinking about maybe I'm good enough to play college football, but I'm a $130. Like we'll see.
I'm greedy as fuck,
And
though.
had a good night. And I'm sure you guys did this. Like you play Friday night, you go do some lift, flush out, run,
Film.
little bit of film.
Early in the morning.
Yep.
Go get a giant ass meal.
Yep.
And then my buddies would want to go do stuff. I'm like, I didn't come out of the game just now. Like I'm fucking gassed today.
Yeah.
Sit at home, air conditioning on at my parents' house. And you're just casually throwing on, those nostalgic freaking college football chimes are playing and
Yes.
whatnot. And you're just like, this is SEC football. Johnny's kind of doing something, and you just see this rowdy white boy taking down. And Bama was probably at this
was
point
like in their middle of
big bad Alabama.
middle of their
They're in the
dynasty.
peak.
Like
They were at the
Big
peak.
bad
like
Alabama.
dead smack of like middle of their dynasty.
And-
of like,
and-
they're the dragon.
They're not expected to win this, let alone do it in the fashion they did. And it's just like, holy shit.
I mean, there was
like,
there was an
when
energy.
you say the fashion of the way he did, like Johnny went out there and really said like, no, I'm Johnny fucking football.
But bro,
It doesn't matter if my guy runs a
he's
good
a
route or
freshman.
not.
And I
That's what I'm
want-
getting at. Like even in the earliest time, he literally was playing backyard football when everyone else was trying to make it to the NFL.
Yeah.
Like Johnny was just running around like, whoo, whap.
And
I'm
the
about to go
energy,
drink
the
20
energy
shots
that
at
it
the end
brought
of
to
this
those
game.
seasons when he was
Oh
there,
my God.
it was so like that was one of my favorite eras of college football. Just the electricity. I mean, you watch this highlight tape. He's jumping around, fumbling the ball, catching the ball, throwing a touchdown. Like
It's
Holy.
one of those generational highlight tapes that like you grew up watching, like Tavon Austin.
Yep.
You grew up watching Vince Young, Reggie Bush. Like there's some kid right now that is dialing up Johnny Manziel fucking highlights, going like, knowing one day hopefully he's as good as that. No one is ever gonna grace the field like Johnny Manziel did from a swagger to a
From a swagger
like,
standpoint.
I remember from a purely like you never met those dudes that just have that confidence. You're like, how the fuck's that guy have that confidence?
Dude.
Delusional
Like,
confidence. It's like the best
like,
thing ever.
That's him.
Yeah.
To a T. But fellas, I have another question for you. Obviously, it's around football. Trying to get some hot takes out here. We saw that the NCAA finally announced. Judge Claudia Wilkins finally came back. A lot of deliberation, a lot of bureaucracy in this, John. We're trying to figure out what these kids are going to get paid. All right.
Yeah.
Finally announced it. They're
Well,
going to get paid.
I want to see my money.
This was a big talk. What does it say? Hey, back pay damages to the fellas.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
see it. Show
I
me
need
the
some
money.
compensation.
I need some compensation. And I've been saying it since I found out this was going to happen. I don't give two flying fucks if that checks a penny.
Yeah.
It's going to say that it's from the NCAA and it's going to be a penny. And I'm going to frame it and go, hey,
I got paid to play college
I got
football.
paid to play college football. I don't give a fuck if it's a penny. Like,
Did I eat top ramen? Did I have expired frozen
What
chicken?
were all those years of suffering worth the 25
The
cents they
medical
gave you?
bills in my late 50s, is it worth the penny that I got paid to play college football?
I don't know.
You're damn fucking right it is, okay?
I'm with
There's
you on
not
that.
a better place
I will
to do
frame
it.
my check also.
Unless it's got some penny to it, baby.
What do you
I
think?
think it will. I honestly think it will.
As a bit of an insider, I think that there's potential that you could have a couple zeros behind it, okay?
Yeah, well, I did
Maybe
some math.
1,000, maybe 5,000. You could really do the
I think
math
it's like
to it.
4,000
Yeah.
in the ballpark there if they do it with
Because the
amount.
highest end are going to be somewhere in like the 400,000 to 500,000. But like if you go and look at the time, look at the games you play.
So what is okay? We just talked about Johnny Football. What's Johnny Football's check?
Johnny Football is taking when they have the pie chart of like who is this getting dispersed to. You have to also think like Johnny Football's in that, Joe Burrow's in that,
Right.
Jamar Chase is in that. Like there's a big
Yeah,
fish.
but still, Jamar Chase
They're not the same.
did not. Jamar Chase became more of a prominent name in the NFL.
I would agree.
Oh, yeah.
I would agree.
Although they were balling in
Well,
college.
who's our other guy?
Justin
Jefferson. He
Yeah.
was huge in college. He was
Yeah.
more
He
was.
7 at LSU. Like that's a huge.
But I
in
still
its own
think
net
both
thing.
of them shine
more in the
once
league.
they got to the
Correct.
league. Is then people look
1000%.
back and were like, "Holy shit, these were the guys that were on."
1,000%. But what really goes into it is who you played. Did you play on national television? What games? Obviously, those SEC schools, those Power 4 schools, they're going to get bigger checks.
Yeah.
Group of 5. That's why a Fresno State that goes out and plays Alabama, Washington, and enter another school here at
Right.
the same season.
Or- yeah,
our check
yeah.
could get a little bigger because those games.
So
were
does
on
that
bigger
also
TV.
count? Like I played 6 freaking
Yes.
years and got the
All
chance
that.
to be at games that
All
were.
that plays into it.
Yeah, I love
If
it.
I got-
He might get a bigger check because he
Yeah,
played
played
more
longer.
years.
Yeah.
And they have played more games on national television. And they look at it that way.
I think if I got a $620 check from the NCAA,
Fired up.
I'm fired up.
Are you serious? That's
I'm
like, dude,
juiced.
I
I'm
could
so
pay my
fired.
car payment.
Yeah,
for like
no, that's
4 months.
Everything goes a long extra way,
I
but
need to fire a car guy.
for real. But my question to you fellas is: you're a brand new rookie GM in the new world of college athletics.
Okay.
You just got your cap. Okay, we know that the cap you're going to get up to $20 million.
Okay.
You're not Alabama. We're going to put you at like.
Let's say we're Fresno
Let's
State.
say you're. I want to give you a pretty
go.
decent
Okay,
number.
give me something.
I'm going to say like let's say LSU. Okay, LSU is going to get about $15 million this year on a revenue share basis.
Okay.
That's going directly to their football program.
and I get to divvy it up.
You get to figure out, hey, what's your first buy as that GM? Are you going to secure your quarterback? Are you going to secure your long snapper? Are you going to get your offensive tackle?
Okay.
Is the incentive base off the table on this?
Meaning,
Meaning,
you have to go figure out, like, am I going to pay this kid 10% of my $15 million?
no, I'm saying,
You're
can I
saying
give base
baseline.
salaries?
Yeah, it's your world, brother. You do how you wanna do it.
Can I give base salaries, but similar to the shutouts and such
Yes,
like that?
you
Can I be
can.
like, hey,
Yes.
O lineman,
You can have
everyone
bonus-laden
gets a
contracts.
$10,000 contract. Everyone gets a $10,000 bonus on the starting O line for every time we keep a clean sheet.
In our world, we'll say yes to that.
Then I am probably 20 million divided by, call it 100 guys. What is that?
It's
$20,000
It's a
a
little
guy.
more than that. It's actually a little more than that.
Okay, whatever. Anyway,
I did the math earlier. If you did 15 million divided by 100, everyone's getting a $150,000 base salary.
okay. Then what I'm doing is this: I'm giving 2 tiers.
Yep.
If you're in the 2 deep, you're getting 100 base. 100. No, if you're in the 2 deep, you're getting a $75,000 base salary.
Yep.
If you're not, you're getting a $50,000 base salary.
Okay.
And then I'm incentivizing every position group.
I like that.
Wide receivers, it's catches, it's yak, it's touchdowns, It's yards total. I think kickers.
I think.
What are we doing?
I think the big one is going to be O-line, D-line for me. I mean, that's where the game's won.
40% of my salary cap is going to the trenches.
Yeah. Think about this. When you have a team,
I can go find a new race car every time I want. I can't find a Mac.
Well, and you got to think about it, right? Like O-line, D-line, like for the most part, like you can incentivize D-line for sacks and stuff and this and that, but every receiver wants to score the touchdown. They're already wanting to do that. So if you say, hey, we'll give you $10,000 if you hit X amount of touchdowns, they already want to do that. You know what I mean? But if you
hopefully that we've recruited them to be the point where they're killers and want to go score.
That's their goal. But when you incentivize a person that never gets the glory with a little bit of capital,
right,
I think that goes a lot longer than the person that already gets the glory and the touchdowns and the interception.
No, the standard would be set on my team that my offensive and my defensive linemen are my highest paid players on the roster.
I love that.
From a standard, not from a base contract.
Yeah.
Now, you as a wide receiver might be able to go get more money than them.
Incentivizing.
Because I'm incentivizing you to do that. But, like, from a base standpoint, like, every O-lineman is, like, from probably my first 10, let's put it that way.
So then I have a question.
Are getting paid probably
I have a question for you guys.
a year.
Obviously, like, that sounds great in theory, but then are you deterring like top level talent from coming in at those, skill positions that are saying, oh, well, this school's offering way more money to these guys. I'm going to go there.
I think that you probably do pigeonhole yourself a bit.
Yeah.
Right. But this question can get peeled back so many onion layers. Like, how do I run my program?
I was going to say, I think at that point,
I think I come to the table with enough of a base.
Yeah.
To be competitive versus somebody like, oh yeah, you might go get $200,000 guaranteed there, but what happens if you get injured?
Right.
Like I have these other things that are going to make sure that protect you more like a pro model.
Yeah.
Right. Like again, the question is very loaded. Right.
Yeah, of course.
At the end of the day, but you're right though. I think you're going to have a hard time like in today's day and age.
How do you stay competitive?
How do I stay competitive?
But I do think this cap thing creates it brings back a sense of the previous college football where, okay, great, everyone's getting paid, but now I can kind of build a culture again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And it eliminates the bidding wars. I also think too, there should be a little asterisk next to everything of, hey, we're signing 3-year contracts, 4-year contracts.
That's what sets up with this new house.
And if you want to transfer, I think they need to make it to where you either have to sit out a year, or
they won't
you can pay it back.
on that. I don't think they'll regress on a sitting out a year.
Well, I think
you're going to see more things happen at this upper management level where like it's not necessarily on the kid if he wants to transfer or not. Like say he wants to leave, he might have to go through this little clearing process, and then the schools have to pay each other. I could see it getting
they're going to be
that pro
plan.
soccer model where like kids are on loan.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, like it's not necessarily like why are we dinging our the guys that make the game run paycheck when these big top level universities like what's $150,000 between you two? Not that big, right?
No.
So here we'll take that 150 G's so you can take him. Now you bought him out of his right, so we don't lose our money.
I like that better.
That gets crazy.
I was gonna have a take, but I like that better. Where if a school really wants a guy and that kid wants to go there,
offer the school, then, not the kid.
Yeah. I've kind of had the take on the transfer portal of like, if you commit to a school, and this was old era, if you commit to a school but the coach can leave whenever he wants, then he just dips out, and you get now a brand new coach that doesn't want you. I don't think that's.
I think all bets are off at that point.
Yeah,
but that's where. But they tried to help you out by saying like if your coach say your coach does have that happen.
Yeah.
Your portal get like no matter when that happens. All those kids' portal opens up for 30 days to now make a decision. Well, and do I want to stay with this new coach? Now, 30 days is enough for them to hire somebody new, so they don't really have the chance to decide.
Yeah.
Well, so my
at least
whole
their options are open.
My whole thing was one of the thoughts that I thought was good about transfer portal was if your coach that recruited you, either your head coach or position coach or defense coordinator, if they leave, you get one free transfer.
Yep.
Right. But if you are transferring because you just don't have the skill to play at the school you're at and there's guys ahead of you, I don't see why you should be able to just up and leave. It's get better. Like you know what I mean?
1000% agree with you. I just think the tough part is like it's such a big machine.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have you don't want to put a kid in that rock and a hard place of if you leave, you're punished. If you stay, you're also punished.
I don't think they should. I don't think they should be punished. But
if I sit out, that's technically a punishment.
Well, that's why I like your thing where if a school wants to buy you out and there is an opportunity for you to go somewhere, I think that's a great idea. Great wrinkle.
I think it's gonna be wild times though, fellas. I think your note of it's no longer going to be a paid mercenary contract. A kid is now going to essentially, with these new rules, Aaron Mitchell is going to sign to the University of Fresno State for 2 years. I'm owned by the University of Fresno State from an employee standship at that point.
Yeah.
So getting out of that, especially in a bureaucratic system that Fresno State is, there's going to be some battle in there of what's that look like. And okay, well, you kept my name, image, and likeness for 2 years, but now I'm over at freaking Utah State.
Right.
How do I get out of here? But now I got to sign a new contract with them. I think there's
gonna be a lot of lawsuits.
Some messy room. There's some messy gray area coming down the pipe for all these universities.
Someone's though gonna find a little loophole, competitive advantage, and they're going to capitalize it. You're going to see a random program. You're going to see a Texas Tech type place.
Go nutty. No.
Pull some shit up. I mean, SMU this year raised money and they went to the playoff.
I think that's what is their competitive edge now. Yes, we have the salary cap, but I've been using Ole Miss as an example forever. Their collective's called the Grove. They netted over $12 million last year as a collective. So now I go look at Ole Miss and go, okay, I get my $20 million from my school revenue payout. I just go tell my collective okay, I need you to go get me another 10. Well, so now I'm sitting at 33 with 10 of it being private money on the outside.
And how does that stay sustainable though? These programs can raise that money, but is that a little bit coming from a lot of people, or is that a lot of it coming from singular?
That 100% depends. It depends on the view, on the demographic of the school that they're working with. I always joke with the example of an Ole Miss has 100 Moby Dicks to go spear.
Yeah.
Okay. A smaller school like Fresno State has 3 Moby Dicks to go spear.
Yeah.
And they already have some spears in them, and they're bleeding and kind of hiding. That's kind of the best way to put it. Is there's a bigger bucket to go shoot bigger money grabs.
Yeah.
Whereas in a group of 5 program, it's got to be grassroots. It's got
and that's where I feel
community-based and driven.
we've already seen a lot of these big programs. They're big and successful, and it just grows and grows and grows.
Yep.
It's still going to be that same group of 5's always going to have to be fighting, itching, scratching, clawing for every little bit.
I think that this probably cleans up some competition areas outside of your big ones, outside of your basketball and your football and your volleyball, let's say. I think it cleans up. You already have some schools coming out going okay, we see your roster limits. Well, we're just going to employ full scholarship for everyone that's on campus now.
Yeah.
Okay, Texas said that upped their scholarship foundation by a whopping $7 million increase.
Wow.
Now all their
everyone's
have to go out and raise more money to get to that number, but everyone on their campus now is walking around as a scholarship athlete that's getting paid cost of attendance. Think about if you're going against your softball team, Texas, who just won a national championship. Now they're playing these schools that don't have that same support. I think it's going to be miles and miles ahead at certain schools and certain different sports in the way that
especially if there's a successful person whose kid plays that certain sport.
I mean, look at Oregon, right? With Nike, Nike pretty much said
Texas
you
Tech
have
and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but let's just say Bill Gates' granddaughter was the skill level of let's use University of Utah, right, for softball, and their programs, top 25 every now and again, whatever it is. And he goes to the coach and we really like her. We're trying to get this pitcher. We could use this DH, blah blah blah. And he's like, well, here's $5 million. Go win a national championship. In a sport like softball,
that's huge.
You're stealing people from the Oklahomas and the Texas and the LSUs, and you're coming to random ass school all of a sudden. Not random, but not one of the blue bloods in that specific sport.
Correct.
And it's just going to keep going. I think women's basketball is another one too. Is UConn has their women's basketball team is such a stronghold. We talk about Bama football. UConn women's basketball had one of the best dynasties of all time.
Yeah.
All time. In sports. And they want to get back on their horse. They very well could go out and just pay the top 5 girls from the last season to all come there and be we're going to win a natty. Because I think that competition level is very low. 8 probably really good teams in women's basketball.
Yeah, there's
There's a huge bridge you have to
what I'm
get.
saying.
But like your example right there is in the flesh in the national championship in softball. Texas Tech last year, before this year, hadn't won more than like 20 games in a season. This last year, brand new coach brought over like 11 transfers. Patrick Mahomes now invests a ton of money into women's sports at Texas Tech because his wife, he's at the national championship. I'm looking in their dugout and they got Theraguns everywhere. They got literally like they're pimped out. Like yes, Texas Tech is a big money school. They got a big market. Not necessarily Texas is a market. Lubbock is not a big place, but like they are now taking levels to get themselves to being in these positions to be competitive at the highest level. I think that's what's going to be kind of crazy and insane about this new level of college athletics.
I mean, everything's going to get shaken up again with the whole SEC leaving the NCAA. That's going to be a whole new.
We think we don't even know to a leveling ground, but like that's the new map's going to get created in a couple of years.
But you look at the progression, right? Like they used to not play a national championship football game at one point, and then it went to the BCS 1 and 2, and then then there was 14
playoff,
and then
or 12. Now they're reseeding it.
Okay, fellas, look, we're gonna run a tournament all year long. Okay, this is how these conferences we're gonna get to a point where it's massive. But I wanted to laugh with you fellas. So obviously NFL season's rolling around, right? Where a lot of teams are trying to figure out rookie contracts, trying to figure out how to put their teams together. Your brother's out there hooping, like
Kansas City, baby.
Kansas City's on the map. We got White Lightning running in the slot position, like. We're looking good, but
dicing people up.
There's a lot of things that are coming out of the NFL. Is obviously media day comes around that corner. Okay, and I saw a little media day photo from our lovely Cleveland Browns. Okay, which I'm not one to take a shot at anybody for body size, how they look, or what they do. Okay, but whoever took a picture of Kenny Pickett holding the ball, but like the ball was end on this way. And I'm telling you,
the ball looks massive.
If this was the entire ball, his fucking hands look like he was holding it like this.
It was that bad?
And he's white knuckling that ball. And I'm like, who stitched our guy up like that?
Put a little pine tar on.
We already know that he's got small hands, but now you're going to put the NFL-sized ball and make him hold it end on? That's just fucked up. That's a stitch up.
Who was the Falcons media person that posted the picture of number 28 and number 3 next to each other, and it like got gassed up, and they were like somebody messed up big time. Like in the NFL, there's always something that's happening.
I always wonder though, like, think if you're an intern who runs the Twitter account for.
No, how do you know? Like, how do you think of?
But also,
you got told today. You take a good photo, you like a good photo, you post it.
But there's got to be some volatility to it where it's like, hey man, they have a group message with all the admins for the social medias, and it's like, yo, bro, like, see what the Jags fucking posted today, like. And are they just dicing? Are they trying to get as close as they can to the fire without getting burned? And then all of a sudden, 28-3 happens. They're like, "Fuck, we lost Johnny, bro. Too much. Now he's working at fucking LinkedIn, bro.
This number's been removed from group chat.
That's it, bro. It does. Not to get on the topic, but I have seen this, and I want to bring this up. The Sydney Sweeney soap thing, bro. And all I want to say is this. First of all, if you buy it, you're a fucking sicko. Second of all...
She's putting numbers up in the soap game, by the way.
Second of all, though...
Numbers.
Oh, the soap industry has to
numbers.
I've seen some funny shit, bro. I've seen, like...
Horrific shit
I've seen... The probably two funniest things. The one that's second tier is, like... This is to get you stanky-ass motherfuckers just finally start using soap. But the real thing, the biggest thing, and this is true, it goes in context to what we're talking about right now with, like, social media, admins, media days... There was a meeting at one point where they were offering good ideas, and some motherfucker threw that out on the table. There was a room with a whiteboard and a projector and notes of high-functioning individuals that probably make 6 figures a year. Hey. And they went, guys,
we got a winner.
What if we have Sydney Sweeney take a bath, and we take that water, and it transforms into bars of soap, and it's a limited amount, and guys use it for their soaping needs.
And then a couple other random looking white dudes got on the board and said, we're also going to market it with her like half naked in the tub.
No, you got bubbles
in the
covered and shit.
bathwater. So like they really get this.
It
this
doesn't just say Sydney Sweeney.
No, they can imagine now these sickos that are buying
that are rubbing that shit all over their body.
Sickos can now be like, this came from that bubble.
That's
balls
like twisted.
The balls it took though for that dude to like verbally.
Okay, but do you think it was just one guy that like thought this whole
Every idea starts with one guy. Every idea starts with one guy.
Or was it one of those,
or a thread, or
was
whatever,
it one of those things where one guy said it kind of jokingly, and then they were like, "Wait, that's actually a good idea," and it went from like her taking a bath, us selling it, to then now all of a sudden the marketing plan coming together and everybody's spinning off.
It came out
throwing
as like,
in their ideas.
It came out as like an afternoon, like they're having lunch. They've been
No,
trying
it was
to come
beer.
up with an idea.
It was a
And,
beers
like,
on the golf course type thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, boys. And it was two dudes that could bring something to their higher up who's kind of a cool guy. And they were like, what do you think, man? And somebody stamped approve on that shit.
What do you think, fellas?
It does make you wonder, though,
Risk.
what other situations like that have been
And
brought up
What's the
cut
cuss
down
that got
and
cut?
denied?
No, what
been
is
brought up
the
and denied?
threshold that gets you to where you flirted with that edge too much, and now you're screwed? But like,
and you're fired.
the funniest part about
Yeah,
this whole conversation,
you got a red dot on your fucking house.
The funniest part about this conversation is all of the memes that came after.
Oh, bro, it's fucking
And
hilarious.
the first time it got posted on X, and you go click those replies just to see those.
Bro, the
funny
one with the hole in the middle.
No, that I didn't even want to say that one. I'm more of it's like the old school picture of like it's been like I don't want to use the border as an example, but like the DEA goes and gets a big drug bust and like they have all the pictures of the cocaine stacked up.
Yeah.
It was like some
Sydney
dude
Sweeney
standing there with Sydney
All the
Sweeney
Sydney
soap
Sweeney.
everywhere. Like these are about to hit numbers on the market. And I was like, okay, this is some dude is stockpiling that soap.
Oh, God.
Going like I'm gonna find the one that's like right on the cusp that was in the
Yeah.
right area of the times that
Yeah.
I want it to be. Like, and I don't know if I feel right about saying that, but like there are some sickos out there.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
they just opened the market for some very creepy people to come out of the woodworks.
How many of those bars of soaps have been sent to Sydney Sweeney? Like, please use and return.
Signing it.
Please
like,
sign this and return this.
I don't know, bro.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy though, but it's good. It's good fucking podcast, man. I'll tell you that much.
Well, fellas, I think that's a note that we should end this one on.
Let's do it, bro.
Make sure you get out there, tap into some Sydney Sweeney soap. Make sure your armpits are fresh. Get that gooch right. Make sure you tap in with Bring the Juice. Tap in with Lunch Pail guys. Hey, if you're a Lunch Pail guy and you're not getting a little sweaty, then you're not chopping wood and carrying water how you need to.
You.